From JBS Studios in Greater New York, this is the JBS News Update with Teisha Bader.
I'm Teisha Bader with the JBS News Update for Friday, October the 4th, 2019. We open with two very disturbing reports of anti-Semitic bullying and assault against Jewish students in Australia. The Australian Jewish News reported, cited by the World Jewish Daily, that the first incident took place at or near the Cheltenham Secondary College in Melbourne, where a 12-year-old Jewish boy was called terrible anti-Jewish slurs, repeatedly beaten, and under threat made to kiss the feet of a Muslim student. A photo of that alleged incident was circulated on social media. At another Melbourne school, the Hawthorne West Primary School, a 5-year-old Jewish boy was subjected to months of bullying and traumatic anti-Semitic verbal abuse, both children relentlessly targeted for being Jewish, though in the case of Cheltenham, the school refused to acknowledge that. Victoria Education Minister James Merlino today called for an immediate review of the incidents. He told the Australian Jewish News this morning, "I utterly condemn anti-Semitism, and it is absolutely not tolerated in any of our schools." He pledged to find out how the schools handled the incidents to make sure they were dealt with appropriately. Merlino said he will be meeting with the families of the boys who, by the way, have removed their children from their respective schools, as well as with the Zionist Federation of Australia, the Jewish Community Council of Victoria, and the Anti-Defamation Commission as soon as possible. Jewish organizations here in the U.S. expressed their horror over the incidents. The American Jewish Committee called them shocking. The Anti-Defamation League said no child should be subjected to this type of horrible anti-Semitic abuse, and they called for more to be done. And Jewish organizations are also responding with great concern to efforts in Sweden to ban the Jewish ritual of Brit Milah, circumcision. The Swedish Center Party voted 314 to 166 at its annual meeting this week to work to fight the non-medical circumcision of boys. Leaders of the Conference of Presidents of Major American Jewish Organizations, Chairman Arthur Stark and Executive Vice Chairman CEO Malcolm Hoenlein said, "We are appalled to learn that a political party in Sweden has proposed a ban on non-medical circumcision of infant boys. This proposal," they said, "put forward by members of Sweden's minority center party would be an outrageous violation of religious freedom and civil rights." World Jewish Congress President Ronald Lauder said circumcision is a central tenet of life and ritual for Jews and Muslims alike and must be maintained as an indelible religious right in Sweden and everywhere in the world. Lauder said prohibiting any citizen from circumcising their son, as has been the practice of their ancestors for thousands of years, is tantamount to decreeing an end to the future of their religious life in this country. Turning now to news in Israel, some 6,000 Palestinians gathered along the Gaza-Israel border fence today, some taking part in violent riots, burning tires, and throwing rocks and explosives at Israeli soldiers. IDF forces responded with riot control measures and reportedly live fire when absolutely necessary. The Hamas-run Gaza Health Ministry claimed that one Palestinian rioter had been killed and 5 injured. And on Israel's border with Lebanon, the IDF tweeted the success of a female Israeli soldier in the IDF's intelligence unit who spotted a smuggling attempt of 40 guns from Lebanon into Israel yesterday, preventing the weapons from getting through. An agreement was reached between Israel and the Palestinian Authority over tax revenues that Israel has collected for the PA, which it has refused for months because of Israel withholding from those funds the amount the PA would give to terrorists and their families, the so-called martyrs tax. After meetings yesterday between Israeli and Palestinian officials, the PA reportedly agreed to accept the transfer of hundreds of millions of dollars, though Israel will reportedly continue to withhold the amount it says would go to the terrorist stipends. If you recall, PA President Mahmoud Abbas told the UN General Assembly in New York earlier this month that those stipends would never stop, calling the terrorists honorable martyrs. Well, a glimmer of hope for diabetes sufferers. The Jerusalem Post reports that a team of Israeli scientists of the Jerusalem-based Betalin Therapeutics has developed the first bioartificial pancreas that could be implanted into the diabetic patient and secrete the amount of insulin needed to balance his or her blood sugar. Animal trials have taken place. Human trials are set for a year from now, with the scientists believing that such a procedure could be available for patients within 5 years. Betelin CEO Dr. Nikolai Lunaker said, "Today you only have ways to manage the disease. This," he said, "is a cure. The diabetic pancreas has lost the function of secreting insulin, and we give it back. The patient should never have to inject insulin into his body again." Taking a look now at our programming for tonight on JBS for Friday, October the 4th. Kabbalat Shabbat services are coming up at 5:20 from the Hampton Synagogue, followed at 6 by live Shabbat services from New York City's Central Synagogue. At 7:30, it's a concert from Nefesh Mountain. At 8, Rabbi Harold Kushner speaks with the late Rabbi Rachel Cowan on what it means to live a good life. At 9:30, it's the documentary Hasidism and Mysticism. At 10, 3 mayors are honored by the American Jewish Committee. And at 10:30, it's Musica with Israeli DJ Skazi. And coming up right after this newscast, a look at this week's Torah portion. And that's the JBS News Update for Friday, October the 4th, 2019. I'm Teisha Bader. Shabbat Shalom.